All right, hi everyone. Um, this video is to introduce presentation mode in Max, which is another way of organizing your visual layout. It's focused on what you need when a patcher is running, or i.e. when you're performing, interacting with a patcher. We have been working with this off for reasons that are going to become obvious soon as we go through that. But now we can start to use it, get a better feel for maybe designing a user interface experience. So to start, I'm going to show you the patcher I've been using. I've done this before with the Drumpattern. Made a few changes just so you know if you've been following along. I added a transport in musical time, converted it to musical time, have the tab object for changing time values, and added some additional comments and made the velocity control consistent with dials across that. So now what I'm going to do is show you what it's like to turn this mode, presentation mode, off and on and add objects and what all we can do. So presentation mode looks like a projection easel screen down in the lower left, which is similar to the icon used in PowerPoint. It says presentation mode. When I click that, it goes blank because nothing's been added to presentation mode. Also, now take a look. If I just add one thing, unlock the patch. I'm going to select something like the toggle here and add its comment. Go up under object, add to presentation. And now when I go into presentation mode, it's there. I can add more objects. When you come back, you notice that anything I've added to the presentation has this sort of pinkish halo aura around the outside. I'm going to add presentation mode to this tab, or add the tab to the presentation mode. Select it. I can right click it as well and add to presentation. You don't see the pink boundary until you click away. So go through and go back. Can select everything and add it to presentation. Just want to show you something important as we look at this. So we're going to add everything in. Going to switch to presentation mode. And the thing that doesn't come with the objects is the patch cords. Presentation mode is a user mode. It is not an editing mode to put your patchers together. So that's why we haven't been using it up to this point, because you can't see any patch cords when you add them. You can't add them in this view because they're not essential for you to interact with as you're interacting with your patch. So I'll come out of here. I'll go select everything again, and I'm going to, under object, remove everything from the presentation. So now what I want to do is decide what I want to interact with, what I need to see while the patcher is running. And I can kind of do that bit by bit. I want to hold down the shift key as I select things, but I need the start and stop comment with the toggle. I need the tab object and its comment. I don't need to see the metro, really even the counter. Maybe if I want to see what step I'm on, that would be okay. I'll include that. I do want to have control or see the tempo, so I'm going to include that attribute. The comment to rewind, I'm using the 0 to both rewind and to reset the counter so that it always starts at 1. See this bang so I can see it's running and see these units. Let's start there. I'll do a right click on any of the objects, add to presentation. And you can see I have different control boxes, grab handles on most of the objects. They're now just on the sides, except for the tab. They're on the sides. One of the things I think I would like is a comment for what this 7 is. I can add comments and objects in presentation mode, but I really recommend against doing that because one of the things I can do is move things around in presentation mode. So let's say I'm going to put tempo up here with the toggle. I need to get my comments for bars, beats, units. You can see the flashing of that. Can include my speed. Steps we'll leave there. We'll also leave the rewind. I don't need that send object, but I'm going to move it for now with everything else. My step speed over here, put the comment below it. So I don't have to worry about getting in the way of patch cords. Now everything I've just moved in presentation mode. So when I come out of presentation mode, those objects go back to where they were with patch cords, with all the visual layouts and things that I needed. So I did notice I wanted a comment, and I'm going to say just step number, and I'm going to add that as well as these comments here. The reason I don't recommend is it can be adding these objects in presentation mode is when you start moving things around, they can be hard to find. If you add a new object in presentation mode, you don't know, you're not looking at all the things that are there outside of presentation mode, and objects get lost. So add your objects, edit your patch, not in presentation mode. Adding these presentation, switching, and I want to get rid of this. So let's do this is just a way that shows me something's happening. Put my comments back underneath. My step number. Now come back out. I need the patterns, and this is important. These are the things I'm going to interact with. So I need the toggles. I don't really need to see the buttons, the note, this velocity. Sure, I want the comments so I can know what I'm doing. Take the velocity out, the control of it, and this comment. Add those to presentation. Come down here, do the same thing. Shift clicking. Adding those to presentation. And I move something. So that's up. That's selected at that and that. Now when I switch, I have all the patterns that I need. And I can make them a little bit bigger to interact. I'm just going to keep them, select them all at once. I can just make them a little bit bigger for this purpose. So I can put the hi-hat. Put these things together. Do the same thing now. I should have changed all of the sizes together, but if the left edge will stay the same, I can drag it out and see the right edge pop out. Can do the same with that here. Snare. And the same thing here. And I'm going to move these up. Down with the arrow key. And now I just have condensed drum pattern. If I wanted more parts, it's easier to put it in this interface and see what I have. Everything is still what I can interact with. So lock it. See step going. I can stop. I can rewind, which is going to restart my steps. Change tempo. Change speed of the step. A little more of a freak out. And stop it. All at the same time. Expand my window back out. All the patches there that I did. I didn't change anything in this window. So this is useful for building up an interface that just is what you need to see. I would be liberal about your comments again so that when you're looking at this, you know exactly what you're doing and you're interacting with. But this is a great way to create a focused interface and still not have to worry about how your performance interface looks over here, make the patch look organized for you and your teacher to see and follow with what you're doing. So that's it for this one. It's a little bit longer, but have some fun.